Hello everyone, I'm Vincenza De Maria, BIM coordinator at ACPV Architects, and at this stage I would like to talk to you about space programming and floor efficiency calculation and give you a little guide to enhance the compliance to ERA program. But first of all, I would like to spend 2 words on my studio. ACPV is one of the biggest firms in Italy, and our headquarters is in the city center of Milan. We are around 200 architects, more or less, and we can boast a very international portfolio made by public space buildings, interiors, and also we are very focused on details. What allows us to do this is our approach to design process that is always to from digital to real. As you can see in this image that represents Illy Café in Via Monte Napoleone, Italy, you can see the passage from the left to the right of the 3D models in Revit to the reality. We really like this kind of picture because they show us that at the end of the day, the reality is really aligned with our design intent and the model. To do this, of course, we have to cross several fields like BIM management, model analysis, computational design, analytics, parametric modeling, and software develop. As I said before, we are more or less 200 people, but the BIM group is made by 30 people. Of course, we have head of BIM, BIM coordinator, BIM analyst, and BIM technician, BIM library developer, computational designer. So we are several, and we work in several ways. Our BIM journey has started in 2007 with the first company BIM project that was a bridge. This is because we really like challenges. And then we have proceeded until now, when in 2015 we have decided to run all the project in BIM. In 2017, we have introduced template, standard, model checker, and skill sharing for all the studio. In 2020, we have started to implement computational designer, BIM tenders, and paperless project. 2 years ago, we have started to develop in-house our app to improve data analysis and digital twin. And we arrived to 2024, in which we are implementing a graph neural network, generative AI, and IoT. Of course, to do this, we have to leverage interoperability. So these are some of the software that we have to manage every day. As I said, this is the BIM group. I'm here. I started 6 years ago as BIM library developer. Then I became BIM library manager. I have also worked in the studio as project designer, so I can see that I have faced different aspects of the same process. And then I became BIM coordinator. But I want to go deeper into the topics, and I would like also to remind you the importance of being information. As you know, in our job, information is fundamental, and everybody knows that BIM means building information modeling. But I would like also to make a modify to this and talk of building information management, because of course it's really important to model and to give information, but it's crucial to manage this information. And we have to do this. To say this, we are totally aligned with the ISO 90650 Part 1 and 2. So let's go to space programming. Space programming, according to BIM Dictionary, is a model used in which 3D models are used to investigate the client's spatial requirements. I will also add the compliance to local regulation, because these two are the first requirements that we have to satisfy in every project. And how we do this? Of course, we do in Revit, modeling areas and rooms. In every project, we do this. And we have also developed an activity flow diagram for space programming, because we have noticed that according to different kind and type of project, the way we model areas and rooms and the way we have to gather data is different. For example, if you see this diagram, you could see 2 big branches. This depends on the fact that most of the project could be could regard or central buildings like skyscraper, for example, or master plans, so different building in a very big topography. The other branches depends on the fact that you have a design option, or in a previous phase like pre-concept phase, you model with masses and something like this. So this is to say that we have different strategies for different kind of project. We have to imagine the information delivery like this toy that my nephew really likes. He's 1 year old. So to imagine this wood box with shaped dolls as ACPV design intent, and area program, local regulation, all the client's requirement as these pieces that has to fit inside the halls. Of course, the purpose of every project is to find the most efficient solution according to clients' requirements. As we know, this process could be very long, sometimes very hard, and sometimes a little bit frustrating, because we had to go back to another option, to the previous option, to rescue the old data and put together with the new one. And so something like this could happen. So I can imagine I am the woman pieces of Lego on the right, and a member of my team, the ones that is under the red block. And we don't want to do this because sometimes we and our team struggle to gather data. This happen in particular on offices projects that are one of our core business. And today I would like to bring you two case studies. One is at Enel headquarters that is in Rome, Italy, and the other one is A2A headquarters that is in Milan. They are of course different because they are offices project, but with different area program, different client, different local regulation, but they have in common the approach that we had with them. As I said before, we really love to work with standard, and to do this, in this case, we rely on RICS, that is a manual that gives us global standards. It's a code of measurement, not a code of evaluation. And RICS talk about 5 types of area that we can calculate, that are GA, GBA, GIA, NIA, and NOA. From this picture, you can immediately see which kind of areas they are and how is the relationship among them. And they are fundamental also to make operation that give us coefficients of efficiency. For example, we know that if we divide NIA with GIA, we obtain core efficiency. Or if we divide NOA with NIA, we obtain layout efficiency according to primary circulation. And we have a table with ranges of values. And so we can say if a result is good, excellent, or is not good. So we have to change our strategy in design intent and design process. Of course, we don't work only with quantitative data, but also with qualitative data. So for example, our aim, our purpose in every project is to satisfy the minimum requirements according to LEED and WELL. So we have a lot of things to calculate, a lot of areas, a lot of information to gather. So the situation could be something like this: a lot of schedules in Revit, a lot of Excel files, a lot of formulas that at a certain point we are not able enough to manage all of this. So we have to find a new approach. Which are the issues that we have to solve? For example, Revit schedule limits, because we know that we cannot compare, for example, areas that comes from different area schemes. So sometimes, no, most of the times, we export in Excel sheets. We obtain enormous and uncontrollable sheets in Excel, and we cannot control them, and also information that is not available in real time. So we need to pass from unstructured data to structured data. And how we did this? we landed to a new approach thanks to Power BI. This picture makes me laugh a lot. Of course, it's a joke because we know that Revit schedules and Excel are really powerful, but we needed something more powerful. Power BI, as we know, is a data visualization tools that leverages data shaping, that is the part in which you can manipulate information and gather data as you want for your purpose, and use the M language of Power Query. So our workflow became this: to export from Revit schedules in Excel format and give the Excel sheets to Power BI as data source. This was so the workflow, very, very simple, very clear. Also because you can set in Power BI the opportunity to have information updated every time you export something new in a specific folder. And this is the view when you import information in Power BI, and you can shape data. So you can organize data as you want, you can create new columns, you make a mean calculation, and you can use also advanced editor. But we were not satisfied enough with this because we wanted to query directly the model and shrink the part of Excel, of schedules, etc. Our aim is always to improve, to make more efficient our workflow. So we landed to Speckle. To find not the better, but the best workflow for now. Speckle is a model platform that allows interoperability between disciplines and also enables seamless collaboration among them, of course, leverage open source. So through Speckle, we have shrink the workflow, we can pass from Revit to Power BI directly querying the model, and this is very good. Of course, to do this, you need Revit, you need Power BI, you need a Speckle account, Speckle connectors for both Revit and Power BI, and then a Speckle Power BI viewer. Now the workflow is this. You have, of course, to model areas and rooms in Revit, to set up a 3D view in Revit, and with the connector to Speckle, you can select the category you want, for example, rooms, and send to the dashboard of Speckle. As you see on the right, you visualize all the rooms in 3D. You can color them and you can query them directly in Speckle, and you can see all the parameters that we have implemented in Revit. So built-in parameters, sham parameters, everything inside. Then you can give this link to the dashboard of Speckle as data sources to Power BI, and so import directly the rooms inside and obtain the parameters that in Power BI are called the record, in which we have nested the value of the parameter, and 2 passages we can obtain all we want. We can visualize in 3D the rooms. And of course, we can also add the tables and flowchart. As you know, Power BI is interactive, so every time you query an object, all the chart will highlight that part and that information. And of course, Power BI updates the information and the data every time the model is updated. So it's really good because you have information in real time. As I said before, we really like to work with standards, and we needed also a standard dashboard, a tailored dashboard to the project, to have the possibility to compare different options of the same project, but also different projects. So we have also set a dashboard like this. To do this in Power BI needs a initial effort to understand which data you need, which information, you want to gather together this data, and how you want to visualize it. But once you have done this, it's real easy also to duplicate this dashboard every time you want and obtain the same visual for different options by switching in the filter from A to B to C, etc., etc. And we have also set this kind of dashboard that immediately give you the comparison between options. So you can see if one option is more efficient than another. So it's really good also when the clients ask you to make a real-time modification. Also because this dashboard will be updated every time you add a new option. So this is one of the goals that we have achieved, so to have a real-time comparison. The other goals, of course, are a shrinked and streamlined workflow, the possibility to understand the efficiency of an option from the early stage of a project, to reduce error by manual enter data in Excel, because sometimes happens, and also to have a record of different design phase. Of course, we cannot stop here, so there is a to be continued, because looking ahead, we would like to do the same with IFC. Of course, Speckle have the possibility to do the same with IFC, so we can do the same as we have seen until now, but our purpose is to develop an advanced proprietary web dashboard that utilize the token, the XIFC.js, to extract and manage and manipulate data, of course, with a 3D web viewer. And also, we want that this data will be synchronized and stored in our database, hosted on our servers. Of course, it's not immediate because we have to also to work with the API. We have already done this with a custom app that we use inside our studio, that is Alessandria, that we have presented last year. So we are really optimistic to do the same. So stay tuned, and thank you very much for your attention.